Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that isn't married and is very, very lonely. Today I want to talk to you all about Knightmare Chess from Steve Jackson Games. In Knightmare Chess, two players are going to play a traditional game of chess with a pretty untraditional twist. Essentially, this box contains 158 cards, and these cards contain all sorts of weird, wacky, and wild things you can do on a chessboard. You're going to each count up to about 150 points worth of cards, and you're going to be playing these cards throughout the game. Essentially, on your turn, you can move a piece just like you would in regular chess, but then you can play a card. Now, some of the cards let you play the card on your opponent's turn instead of on your turn. But as you're playing these cards, very weird, very unexpected things are going to happen. For instance, you can create new pieces. The king and queen, if they're right next to each other, they can create a princess piece, which can do interesting things. You can turn your king into a warlord, which allows him to move 2 spaces. You can essentially make an opponent's knights drunk, and every time he moves his knight, you can then move it again in one direction. There's all sorts of weird, wild, crazy things that can happen when you play a game of Knightmare Chess. So I'm not going to get into all of the moves here. Obviously, there's just too many, and it would take too much time. But just I want to convey that sense of everything that is so wild about this game, because when you play a traditional game of chess, one of the things you learn and one of the ways you play is you think 2 or 3 turns ahead. You cannot do this in Knightmare Chess. You can try, but it's not going to work too well, because as soon as you make a move and play a card, your enemy is going to move and play a card, or he'll play a card that cancels out one of your cards, or mimics one of your cards, or something else completely out of left field that is so unexpected. You know, he may play a card that essentially makes a certain spot on the board impassable, set up a fortification, or you can't enter a certain spot, or if you do move from a certain spot, they'll move differently if they start in that spot. There's all sorts of very, very weird things in this game. To give you a couple of examples, I was playing a game and I was on the ropes. I was down to my king and a few other pieces, and I played a card that allowed my king to move 2 spaces. It was called a warlord card. So now my king can move 2, gives him a lot more flexibility, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm out of this trap. It got me some breathing room. I may be able to pull this thing out because my king is not limited to how he can move. But as soon as I played that card, my opponent played a card that essentially nullified the card I just played. So I was like, it's terrible. Then, earlier on in that same game, I played a card, I think it's called Fireball, and essentially I moved one of my pieces into the middle of a bunch of my enemy's pieces. I played the Fireball card, and essentially I have to lose that piece that I moved there, but all of the adjacent pieces, save a king, of my enemies were all captured. So it was like you sacrifice one piece to get all these pieces. I'm like, it's freaking awesome. I just totally took him out. But then he played a card that essentially allowed him to take that last card that was played. So he got the Fireball, and he did the exact same thing to me, a few moves later. So it was like, There's also a great card in it, the Doomsayer, I think it's called. And what you do is you play this card, and the next person to say the name of any piece loses that piece, loses one of those pieces. So I'm playing this, and I'm sharp. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to make him screw up. I'm going to trick him somehow. So I play that card, and sure enough, not 3-4 moves later, I asked him, oh, wait, what is your queen doing? I said the word queen. I lost my queen. It's terrible. And it's those sorts of things that are so much fun about Knightmare Chess. It is unpredictable. It's called the original game of chaos on the chessboard. It's freaking awesome. If you like chess, this makes it better. If you don't like chess, you'll like it with Knightmare Chess. Great game. Just tremendous amount of fun. Knightmare Chess was originally released in 1994. It did so well in 1998, they released Knightmare Chess 2. Now, this third edition has both of those editions in it as well, 158 cards total. And I gotta tell you, when this game came out in the late 90s, I had some buddies. I was performing at a theater, and all my buddies were playing Knightmare Chess. And they were having so much fun with it. But at the time, it just didn't seem fun. I'm like, I want to play chess. Why would I want to screw with a good thing like chess? A very different gamer back then. And so they said, let's play Knightmare Chess. Let's play Knightmare Chess. I'll play chess with you, but I don't want to play with all these stupid cards. It doesn't even sound like fun. Well, years go by, and my gaming tastes evolve, and I thought, you know, that Knightmare Chess, that was probably a really fun game. Why didn't I play it? I should have played it. And then I couldn't find it. None of my friends had it anymore. Some of them had it stolen. Some of them gave it away. Nobody had it, and I was so mad. And so I was thrilled when Steve Jackson Games released this new edition of Knightmare Chess. It is just amazing. It's every bit as good as my friend said it would, and I love it. I think this is a great game.
Knightmare Chess is an awesome game.
So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Knightmare Chess is buy it! Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. Please leave a comment here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, on our website, thediscriminatinggamer.com. And please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer. So very lonely. Seriously, do you know any girls?
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Tolliver here is going to help me.
It's better than a beating. So, how do you play this game? So what?
Okay.
One more time.